welcome back to part 2 of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Last time we defeated some orc chieftain and his servant and got a nice lot of loot and a poison dart to the stomach. But we're feeling quite a bit better now, so let's see what happens next. It says here, turn to page 293. You arrive back at the junction in the passage and walk straight on eastwards. Okay, perfect. 113. It looks like we explored all of the west side of the mountain thus far, which is brilliant. 113. You arrive at another junction in the passage. You may either go northwards or eastwards. Let's go eastwards, and let's mark that on our trusty map. So, page 78. Let me know, guys, if there's any feedback from the last episode that you have. I'd love to hear it. The passage ends at a solid wooden door with metal hinges. Listening to the door, you hear strange mutterings and the clatter of what could be pots and pans. Whatever is in there, there are several of them. You want to go through the door? Turn back. Let's get a little bit of action in here to launch off this episode. We're going to go into the door. You open the door into a large room which can only be the dining room of some warty-faced creatures you now recognise. Sitting around the large table are 5 orcs busily drinking and dribbling their bowls of rat gizzard soup. All are involved in a rowdy argument as to who will get to chew the rat bones left in the large soup cauldron, so they do not see you enter. You may be bold and prepared to attack them, or you may not relish the prospect of taking on 5 of these creatures and try to escape. If you wish to leave the room, test your luck. If you're lucky, you can get out without them noticing. There's no penalty for escaping. If you're unlucky, they notice you. We should try and leave. So we're going to try our luck. Our luck is 11, and we succeeded. Turn to page 237. Well, passage 237 rather than page. Here we are. You move swiftly down the passage and arrive back at the junction. Turn northwards this time. Okay, guys, we are making progress. We've explored all of the west side of the mountain and all of the east side. The only way up, the only way is up north. 285. You see a well-used door on the right-hand east side of the passageway. With your ear to the keyhole, you listen and hear a man screaming for help on the inside. Will you open the door or walk on? We shall open the door. Just mark on our map what's going on. Passage 213. The door is locked. You may try to charge it down by rolling 2 dice. If the number you rolled is equal to or less than your skill score, the door bursts open. Turn to 36. If the number is greater than your skill score, the door remains locked and you lose 1 stamina point for your bruised shoulder, and you must progress up the passage. Our skill is 12, so we can't fail this. Brilliant. What could be behind this door, I wonder? Something asking for help. Am I foolish for trusting it? So far, we haven't really trusted anyone. That orc servant didn't gain my trust at all. The locked door bursts open, and a nauseating stench hits your nostrils. Inside the room, the floor is covered with bones, rotting vegetation, and slime. A wild-haired man, clothed in rags, rushes at you, screaming. His beard is long and grey, and he is simply waving an old wooden chair leg. Is he simply insane as he appears, or has this been some kind of trap? You may either shout at him and try to calm him down, or draw your sword and attack him. This poor fella, it looks like he's been locked in here for a long time. We're gonna shout. We're gonna try and calm him down by shouting, which is quite ironic. 263. It's a dire situation, I suppose, so we're shouting. I don't think this weak, frail man can do much to us anyway if it does come to a fight, but I'm hoping it doesn't. You shout, "You are freed, old man," at the top of your voice. Instantly, his ranting ceases. He stops dead in his tracks and sinks to the floor, weeping loudly. As he gradually composes himself, he thanks you many times. You talk with him in the hope of discovering some secrets of the mountain. He begins to tell his story. Many years ago, he was an adventurer like you, in search for the warlock's treasure. He was captured by the orcs and thrown into his solitary cell as a sort of pet for the creatures. You ask whether he would like to accompany you into the mountain, but he simply wants to leave and see the world again. You ask him for advice, but he says he knows little. He advises that you pay respects to the boatman and tells you that you must pull the right-hand lever on the wall ahead to open the iron gate at the end of the passage. He has also learned that the keys to the boathouse are guarded by a man and his dog. You shake hands, leave the room, and go your separate ways. Add 1 luck. Wow, that's amazing. We actually helped free a prisoner, a pet man for the orcs, and he gave us a lot of good information. So we need to remember to pull the lever so that we can go to the right lever, and also that the keys are held by a man and his dog. So some sort of guard dog and a man, so I guess a human. So I'm feeling very good about this. We can feel good, we've helped someone, and also we've got a lot of great information. Okay. First throughout the passage, you see a door in the east. You listen hard, but you hear no sound. Do you wish to open it and investigate? If so, turn to 223. If you want to work further throughout the passage, 300. We may as well go in and investigate. Let's mark on our map what we've seen so far. The door is firmly locked. You may try to force it open or continue along the corridor. Let's try to open it. We have such good luck. And stamina so high, it's impossible to fail, it seems. We got really lucky on our character. Coldset is a very strong fellow. You charge the door, hitting it squarely with your shoulder. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your skill score, the door opens. If the number exceeds, it does not budge, and you wince in pain as you hit the door, and you lose 1 stamina point. Wow, that was crazy, because if we had any less skill than 12, we would be screwed right there, because we rolled 2 6s, but luckily it's equal to or less. So we're on passage 155. Let's see, here we go. The door splits along its length, and you wrench the timbers apart to let yourself in. A torch hangs from one of the walls, lighting up a small armory room stocked with swords, shields, helmets, daggers, breastplates, and the like. You examine the weaponry and find nothing appearing superior to your own sword. However, a circular iron shield with a golden crescent at its center catches your eye. You pick it up and feel the weight on your arm. If you wish to take the shield, it will aid you in battles by helping you to fend off wound damage inflicted by a creature on you. In the future, during a battle in which you are using this shield, if a creature wounds you, you may throw one die. If you roll a 6, the creature inflicts only 1 point of damage instead of the normal 2. If for any reason the creature would normally inflict 1 point of damage, then the successful roll of 6 means that no damage is done. However, the shield is heavy, and you will have to leave behind one item of equipment to be able to carry it. Okay, let's see our equipment. Let's have a look. We have the 99 key, the potion of invisibility, and the glove. Let's think for a moment, what shall we do? Rolling a 6 seems pretty unlikely, so we're going to leave it. Turn to page 300. The thing about our current list of loot is that we don't know how good it is until it comes up. The potion of invisibility might let us avoid a horrendous fight in the future. On the east wall of the passage, you see another door, this time made of solid metal. Listening to the door, you hear the sound of tortured screams coming from within. If you wish to try opening the door, turn to 102. If you decide to ignore this room, we continue up the corridor 303. We're going in. Maybe we can rescue another poor soul. The door is not locked and opens. The room in front of you seems to be a small torture chamber with various torture devices around the walls. In the center of the room, two small, hunchbacked creatures are having their fiendish way with a dwarf, who's tied to a hook in the ceiling by his wrists. The two hunchbacks are poking and cutting him viciously with their swords. The dwarf lets out a final scream and falls silent, eyes closed. His captors make disappointed noises and look round angrily at you as if it was your fault that the dwarf has collapsed. You must act quickly. Will you close the door and continue up the corridor? Draw your weapons and fight the creatures. Stride over to the dwarf and give him a jab with your sword and put on an evil laugh for the torturers. That's amazing. We can pretend to be fellow twisted mountain folk and join in, but I think we're going to draw our sword and fight the creatures to avenge this poor dwarf. I'm sure he didn't live a pure life, but he didn't deserve that fate. Those two evil creatures are goblins, and they attack you one at a time. First goblin has a skill of 5 and a stamina of 5. So, his first attack is very mighty. That's 9 plus 5, so that would be 14. Our skill is 12. Okay, we rolled a 20 overall, so we knocked 2 stamina points off him. Next goblin is the same skill, but a little bit more tough, with 6 stamina, and he rolled a really effective 16. And we drew. So when an enemy and the character score the same attack score, it means that both miss. So we are next on to the first goblin again. Terrible roll. He scored an 8. We can't lose that. So that's another 2 damage to the goblin. And I didn't explain how luck worked in combat last time. Essentially, if we score damage, we do 2. But if we use luck, we can inflict another 1 damage, so 3. But when we do that, we actually lose that piece of luck. We can gain it back, but we can't exceed our original value. The same goes for when you are attacked. If a enemy scores an attack, you can use luck to minus 1 of the damage, so you only take 1. So that orc is now down to 1 HP. This goblin just rolled an amazing roll. Look at that. So he got 16. We beat that without too much effort. So he's down to 2. That goblin just rolled 14. Yeah, we beat that. So that's one dead goblin. This next one, obviously a bit distraught from seeing his friend die. And boom, we've killed that goblin as well. So, if we kill the goblin to go to 317, maybe the dwarf is still alive and he's just playing dead. Should have done that before. I guess he couldn't, and he's now maybe got a distraction. I'm just hoping that he's not dead. It would be horrible if he was. You cut down the dwarf. He is, as you guessed, dead. Going through his pockets, you see two. Going through the pockets of the 2 goblins, you find a large piece of sweet-smelling cheese. If you wish to take this with you, put it in your pack and leave northwards. I will take that with me. Cheese. And they'll mark on our map where we have been. You arrive at the end of the passage, where it meets another going east-west, but an iron portcullis blocks your way and no amount of charging is going to budge it. On the wall to your right are 2 levers, and it seems likely these levers have something to do with raising the portcullis. Do you wish to pull the right or left lever? The freed slave from earlier told us the right one opens the portcullis. So we will go and pull the right one. He better not be deceiving us. I mean, he has no reason to. It seems like he was having a horrid time until we arrived. You hear a deep, rumbling noise and the ground begins to shudder. Slowly and noisily, the portcullis rises into the ceiling. You may now walk to the junction. Will you turn west or east? Thank you for watching this episode as we delved deeper into Firetop Mountain. The portcullis rises and mystery awaits. I kept playing in this session, and next time the atmosphere of the mountain changes for the worse, and the enemies become more twisted and grotesque.